I looked at it as just a big abstract social abstraction, just a big hybrid social abstraction. The whole thing to me was a big abstract painting, all these different parts that cross and recross, and each one of themselves having its own particular temperature and dynamic, but individual and collective at the same time. When I came to Chicago, I knew that I didn't want to have a residency that was more hermetic and research-based, but had a lot more social components.
Mark wanted to get to know Chicago, get to know the MCA, and to work intimately with different stakeholders of the MCA.
This would be a different residency with a different person. It's all about him, his personality, his interest, and we took our cues from him in deciding and working with him to figure out who the other partners should be. And because of his interests and the relationships we have with particular schools and organizations, who to work with and what partners to bring in actually kind of came together pretty easily.
When Mark visited Lindblom in the fall, he started a discussion with my group of students about, I'm coming, we're going to have this residency, it's going to coincide with my show. What could it be?
When Mark Bradford came, I remember he was standing and all of us stood at the other side of the room. I guess we were nervous to be next to him because whoa, here's this tall artist and here we are, why is he here? What does he want to do with us? The more we just started talking, he was just really cool, and after a while we all just chilled, he's just a regular guy. I mean, he's just here, he just wants to do art with us. We're art kids.
He is amazing at working with kids and kind of finding the ideas that need to be promoted, and the times that he's able to be here, the leaps that he's able to get the kids to make are amazing.
But when somebody like Mark Bradford comes in and he presents a whole new model, a whole new level of seriousness, and for the mentors here, it gives us a way to provide pathway for students so we can identify and say, hey, you're really good at spoken word or graphic design or photography. You should get with this project. And not only is it a good project where you'll be working with the MCA, there's this artist you're going to be working with as well, who the teens really see as, oh, I'm working with somebody in the real world who's really doing this, who's exhibiting.
My project is basically pictures of people's souls. Whether it's an expensive pair of vintage Adidas or something versus someone who has a pair of Air Force Ones on or whatever, you can tell economic status, maybe the neighborhood they come from or whatever. And then from the way the sole looks, so if it's perforated and has rocks stuck in it and gum and other things, you see the terrain they travel to get to wherever they have to go, versus someone who gets maybe dropped off to school every day, who will have a perfectly clean pair of shoes that look brand new straight out the box.
I was inspired by Mark's, multiple projects of Mark's map communities or map movements, and I really took a liking to that, so I decided I would map my father's journey from Mexico to America. I would romanticize my father as a cowboy, having to face bandits or having a showdown or something, and I attributed that to the lack of communication we had and the fact that I wanted to make him into a hero, or that he was a hero in my eyes. I just thought it was an interesting story, and I figured it was about time to document it because it's a very important part of who I am and who my family is.
My project is basically a dress. It's supposed to represent the college dress that I have. Watching a video of Mark Bradford, he was wearing a Southern Belle gown trying to play basketball. What inspired me was the fact that he was struggling in it, but he kept trying to play basketball in this big gown. So I was like, I kind of want to make a big gown as well, because I think I'll just emphasize the idea of this dress a little bit more. It's completely made out of college mail. I've been going to multiple college fairs throughout all my years here, and I never wanted to throw it away, the papers that I had, because I felt like I needed it for something at the end. And then this dress came along, and I'm like, well, since I have a lot of this material, I think it would be good if I use it for my dress.
One of his interests is in allowing the kids into his world. And he lives in a different world than most of us. It's sort of an isolated world, and one that we don't have a lot of access to if you're not really involved in the arts. And so they're getting access to that, and he's opening access to that, and even inviting the students to his show, and the MCA even taking the step to move the show because it was on senior prom, and I have a lot of seniors, right? So all of those things, they don't go unrecognized by the students, and they do feel like they're being treated in a different way and respected in a different way. And I think that's very meaningful to them, and they understand that both the MCA and Mark play a large role in making that happen.
Well, just working with Mark and working with the MCA has been really interesting. We get kind of like, I feel like the inside scoop on stuff that they do with other artists, because they treat us like we are true artists, not just high school students, which I think it reflects like the respect that we've gotten from the MCA and from Mark, because they could have easily just been like, oh, well, these are just high schoolers, whatever. They're the art in the corner. It's not a big deal. But the fact that they didn't, and that they've taken the time out to like give us a space and set up conferences and fly Mark out here, I think is really great.
What I hope they take away from this experience is that art is not something outside of their experiences, that it lives alongside everything else. It lives alongside when they're studying for math and English and science, and it lives right there with them. It has nothing to do with if it's hanging on the wall of a museum or it's in your garage. That doesn't give it value or validity. What gives it value and validity is that you decide that this matters and that you explored this. That's what I hope that they take away from it.